I saw this video today and I had to play this video. Tom Perez's captured wounded animal trying to explain, dance, shake, and yell, explaining to Sunrise activists why he's not willing or why he's not going to push for a debate on climate. Well, this is a good one. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas, and this is indeed the Progressive Soapbox, and there is an awesome video clip by the Sunrise Movement with one Mr. Tom Perez that is somewhat frustrated in having to kind of explain why he doesn't, or why he's not going to go for a climate change debate, meaning a debate purely on climate change. Apparently Jay Inslee had called for this, and not just Jay Inslee. I would imagine a lot of people, even some of the contestants in the race, will be on board for this. Tom Perez is not. Tom Perez is not. And a movement that's dedicated to this thing of a climate catastrophe, something of a world impacting event, doesn't necessarily go with Tom Perez's answer, doesn't particularly like this answer. And Tom Perez is also, concurrently, doesn't necessarily like this having to explain himself. You can look at it in his demeanor and the bouncing and bobbing and moving around that he's doing as she's having a conversation with Tom Perez on this issue and presses him on it. Good on you for pressing him on it. Bad on you, Tom Perez, for not going through with it. Now, I have two feelings of this. In one part, I don't hate Tom Perez's answer. In the other part, I absolutely hate Tom Perez's answer. I don't hate entirely his answer because Tom Perez slightly has a point. He's like, look, we came up with these rules. Now, let me separate it with this first. Tom Perez's diagnosis of what went wrong in the last Democratic primary boils down to what he was saying during the time he was running for the DNC chair. There was a perspective that there was impropriety here. There was a perspective. There was a loss of confidence. It was these type of things. No, you rigged it! And all of these Orwellian rules, well, not Orwellian, but all these weird rules that you're putting forth are because you're coming up with this odd perspective that people's issue with the primary was that it was an appearance of impropriety. It was an appearance. You were cheating the guy. There's records showing you were cheating the guy, showing what was taking place behind the scenes. Stop with this impropriety nonsense. And so now you have this. Well, we have the rules. We have to stay within the rules. The rules say this, and we went through this process, and we can't change the rules. It's all about the rules. It's all about the rules. So you have this weird setup where the people who are debating now have these different rules that are changing within the context of two debates. Just weird. It's weird. That's all. And I gotta be honest, what she's asking him here is legit. Let me give his answer first, and then let's talk about it after. Why don't you guys have a debate on climate change? That's her basic point, and that's what she presses it on. I hope she's okay with me using this video. This is from the Sunrise Movement. Ooh, that's wrong. This one. All right.
Ago, Governor Inslee called and said, I would like to have a climate-only debate. And I said what I just said to you, Governor, we are going to have a more robust and granular discussion of climate in the course of our debate season than ever before. Yes. But to change the rules because the candidate who has made this his signature issue wants us now, 4 months later. And by the way, when we announced our rules, nobody complained. Everybody said, I get the rules of engagement. And I understand why Governor Inslee wants to do this, and I understand the importance of the issue. But to change the rules now and say we're going to do it differently after we had all agreed on the terms of engagement, then I need to go back to a number of organizations who said, I want a debate on my issue and my issue only. And we don't have enough debates to do that.
Right, so if you understand the impact that the climate crisis is going to have, it isn't a single issue. It's going to affect literally every single aspect of our lives, the air we breathe, our homes. With 15 candidates, which I think is almost half, it's not just Inslee, it's not preferential treatment for him if you hold a climate change debate. And I would say that the rules are a very thin defense against the climate crisis. It's going to affect our entire lives. It's
The
not
climate
just a
crisis-
single
The
issue.
climate crisis is very real, and that is why, at the end of the day, I urge you to judge us on whether I kept my word that we are going to have a broader and more robust debate on climate than ever before. There are debates where you carve out a section of the debate and it's on issue A or issue B. We will be doing that throughout the course of the debate season. There are a number of different ways to make sure that we meet the North Star principle that you and I both agree on, which is climate change is real. It's an issue that was not discussed adequately in the past. We're not going to allow that to happen again, and we're going to do it in a way that makes sure that we are respecting the gravity of the issue and
I hate that answer. I hate that answer. Even though, like I said before, I hate it, but I don't. I don't hate it, but I hate it, or I don't like it, but I'm of two minds. So, as I listen to this, my first thought is Tom Perez saying that we're going to have a more robust debate on this than ever before is kind of like a tall, short person. It's like, yes, this guy's technically taller, but I mean, really, he's like 3'8". You know what I mean? It's not really saying much. It's just saying more than what there was before. There's a higher emphasis on this. There's more attention paid to this. So over the course of the debate cycle, they're going to be questions that are going to be within the context of this topic more than others. I guess if that makes sense. But the more than others is not really saying much. That's, like I said, a tall, short person. The secondary point she made to him was that, judge me on this, etc. Again, fair enough. Tom Perez's job, it is true, this as an issue may cut towards one candidate or another candidate. And in order to get rid of any notion of impropriety, I don't want to cut to this candidate's topic. Meaning, if Jay Inslee is calling me accent about this, and this is Jay Inslee's singular issue, this is the thing that he's running on, well, that's unfair to the other candidates, seeing that Jay Inslee made this his issue. And so I don't necessarily want to have a debate just purely on this, particular issue, because that's unfair to the other candidates. Not to mention, I don't even know if Jay Inslee is going to be in a race come, X number of debates later on. Okay, I understand that. But this is not just an issue. Like, this is not just abortion, or this is not just tax policy. You would have a conversation on national security, that would be a topic. You have a conversation on domestic policy, that may be a topic. But the problem that Tom Perez has, or my problem with his argument, boils down to this notion of it as an issue. It's not just an issue. Yes, it is an issue, but it's an issue in somewhat of a separate category because you're talking about the end of life on this planet. Do you understand that? That's not just an issue. That's not just another matter. That's not just something you put to the side. You're talking about, like, if you're really, it is impossible to get the gravity of this issue and to talk about it in this kind of way as if it's not one of the most significant things that we're dealing with. The scientists of your planet told you you had 12 years left, and that was like 2 years ago. Recently, they just came out with reports showing that your biosphere is dying, meaning the insects, the animals. This stuff is taking place behind the scenes because how often do you engage with animals? But people who are studying this stuff saying, look, our habitat is dying. How we're living, what we're doing, the things that we're putting into our world is killing that world. And in the same way that those things are dying, it will get to us. It will get to us. What we're doing, our behavior on this planet, is causing catastrophic harm to us and our species and other species on the planet. That's a life-changing thing. That's a real-world thing. That's a real reality thing. I often say that, oftentimes the things that we're talking about aren't necessarily real. They're just concepts. This is a real-world thing. This is a flesh-to-bone, dirt, sun thing. I'm trying to make this distinction between like government and policy, this conceptual stuff, and the results of those policies, tax policies and that type of thing, versus things that affect us on this planet in a real world way, in the way that we're going to live our life, in the way that the generations, future generations, are going to live their lives. I'm saying the point where your scientists are telling you are doing things that are going to catastrophically cause trauma to us in our living situation. How do you hear that and then say it's going to come up? As opposed to what this woman is saying here that seems to get the gravity of what's being said and pressing you on this. It's like saying there's an asteroid that's about to hit the planet. Yeah, we're going to get to that in one of the debates. We're going to talk about it in a few debates. Judge me on whether or not we talk about it. I get that, Tom, and I understand that, but I mean, you know, we're talking about something that's catastrophic. We're talking about something that's catastrophic. Trying to say that it may cut one of the ways, yes, it may cut one of the ways, but so what? So what? Tom Perez is hiding behind the rules in this case. Which is why I'm kind of like, I get it, but no, it's insufficient. Deal with the other candidates. Which candidates are against it? And at the end of the day, I think the public should know which candidates are against us having a debate on climate change. Why wouldn't you want to have that debate? And finally, the last part, why wouldn't you want to have that debate? One of the parties outright denies science. Flat out. It's not real. It's a hoax. The Chinese did it. Compared to the other party that claims we believe in science. We believe in science that says there's an asteroid that's going to hit the planet, but no, we don't believe it's important enough to have a debate on the fact that an asteroid is going to hit the planet. For all intents and purposes, the way that scientists are talking about climate change, the overwhelming majority of them, like 90% or more, is an asteroid that's about to hit the planet. And Tom Perez, standing just here in this 2-minute clip, just said that that wasn't important enough. That was just like an issue, like other issues, to discuss. And it's not important enough to have this singular debate on. I think Tom Perez is wrong. I think Tom Perez is massively wrong. I'll end it. I don't want to keep this one long, but I thought this video was interesting, so here we are. Thanks all. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting this channel through PayPal, Patreon, liking, sharing, etc., etc. Thanks all.